Before God blesses you with marriage, He blesses you with revelation. Not revelation about another person, but revelation about yourself. Because marriage does not begin when you meet someone. It begins when you understand why you exist. From the very beginning, God established order before union. In Genesis 1, God formed the man before He presented the woman. Because purpose must always precede partnership. When God prepares you for marriage, He does not rush you into companionship. He draws you into clarity. He makes you confront who you are, why you are here, and what you are called to carry. Because marriage is not a remedy for emptiness, loneliness, or confusion. Marriage is an assignment that demands wholeness. Before God blesses you with marriage, He interrupts your illusions. He strips away romantic fantasies that are built on emotion without responsibility. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." God begins to challenge what you think you want by revealing what you actually need. He allows disappointments, delays, and closed doors not to punish you, but to purify your desires. What you once pursued with urgency, you now examine with wisdom. What once excited you, you now discern carefully. This is not loss, this is maturity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He deals with your identity. You cannot enter covenant confused about who you are. Identity confusion creates dependency, and dependency destroys covenant. Genesis 2:18 says, "It is not good for man to be alone," but that statement came after man was already walking with God, naming animals, stewarding creation, and living in purpose. Alone did not mean lonely, it meant singular. God was not fixing loneliness, He was completing assignment. Before marriage, God teaches you how to stand complete in Him, so that you do not ask another human being to become your source. Psalm 62:5 says, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God, my hope comes from Him." Before God blesses you with marriage, He heals your perception. Many people enter relationships seeing through wounds instead of wisdom. God must heal the lens before He aligns the lives. Past betrayal, abandonment, rejection, or disappointment can distort how you interpret love. So God allows seasons where you are alone, not because you are forgotten, but because you are being restored. Psalm 147:3 says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." God knows that unhealed wounds will bleed on innocent people, and marriage is too sacred to be polluted by unresolved pain. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts your pride. Pride hides in independence that refuses accountability and in arrogance that rejects correction. Marriage requires humility because it is the union of two wills under one God. James 4:6 tells us, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Before covenant, God teaches you how to apologize, how to listen, how to repent, and how to submit, not just to another person, but to Him. If you cannot submit to God, you will struggle to submit to covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reorders your priorities. Many people want marriage added to their lives without rearranging their lives. But marriage is not an addition, it is a transformation. Matthew 6:33 says, "To seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness." God examines what sits at the center of your heart. If ambition outranks obedience, if comfort outranks calling, if validation outranks truth, God will pause the process. He will not place a spouse next to someone whose life is out of order, because disorder multiplies in covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you stewardship. Marriage is stewardship of another person's heart, time, body, emotions, and destiny. If you mishandle responsibility in private, you will mishandle covenant in public. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much." God watches how you manage singleness, money, friendships, time, boundaries, and obedience. These are indicators of how you will manage marriage. Covenant demands discipline, not just desire. Before God blesses you with marriage, He tests your obedience. Obedience reveals trust, and trust sustains covenant. God will ask you to walk away from certain relationships, habits, environments, and patterns that feel familiar but are misaligned. Abraham had to leave his father's house before God established covenant promises through him. Genesis 12 shows that separation preceded multiplication. God knows that what you tolerate now will sabotage what He gives you later. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to be content. Contentment is not settling, it is stability. Philippians 4:11-12 shows Paul learning to be content in every season. If you cannot be content single, marriage will not cure your dissatisfaction. God teaches you joy without a ring, peace without validation, and purpose without applause. This contentment protects marriage from becoming an idol and protects your spouse from becoming your savior. Before God blesses you with marriage, He sharpens your discernment. Love without discernment leads to destruction. Proverbs 4:23 says to guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. God trains your spirit to recognize character over charm, alignment over attraction, and purpose over chemistry. Discernment teaches you to listen to conviction, not just emotion. God knows that attraction fades, but alignment sustains covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes counterfeit connections. Not everyone who feels right is sent by God. Some relationships feel intense because they awaken wounds, not perp. God allows counterfeits so you can learn the difference between attachment and assignment. 1 John 4:1 says to test the spirits to see whether they are from God. Discernment is learned through experience, prayer, and surrender. God does not want you impressed, He wants you aligned. Before God blesses you with marriage, He builds your character. Marriage does not create character, it reveals it. What is hidden in singleness will be amplified in covenant. Galatians 5 speaks of the fruit of the Spirit, not the gifts of the Spirit. Gifts attract, but fruit sustains. God develops patience, self-control, kindness, faithfulness, and humility because love without fruit collapses under pressure. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to forgive. Covenant requires forgiveness because two imperfect people will collide. Matthew 18:21-22 shows Jesus teaching forgiveness without limits. God allows opportunities to forgive in advance so you do not enter marriage keeping score. Unforgiveness poisons intimacy and hardens hearts. God softens your heart now so you do not harden later. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts your motives. Why do you want to be married? Is it to escape loneliness, prove worth, satisfy desire, or fulfill pressure? Or is it to serve, build, multiply, and reflect Christ? Ephesians 5 reveals marriage as a picture of Christ and the church. That is not romance. That is responsibility. God purifies your motives so covenant does not kernel. Lapse under selfish expectation. Before God blesses you with marriage, He establishes boundaries. Love without boundaries becomes control, obsession, or compromise. God teaches you when to say no, when to wait, when to walk away, and when to stand firm. Boundaries protect purity, honor, and clarity. 1 Corinthians 6:18 reminds us to flee from sexual immorality because covenant intimacy must be protected by discipline before it is expressed in marriage. Before God blesses you with marriage, He deepens your prayer life. You cannot sustain covenant without communion with God. Prayer becomes your refuge, your filter, and your foundation. God draws you into intimacy with Him so that when marriage comes, it does not replace your relationship with God but complements it. Ecclesiastes 4:12 tells us a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you patience. Impatience rushes what God is refining. Psalm 2:7-14 says to wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart. Waiting builds endurance, wisdom, and discernment. God knows that rushed marriages carry unresolved immaturity. Delay is not denial, it is development. Before God blesses you with marriage, He aligns timing. 2 prepared people can still miss each other if timing is wrong. God is sovereign over seasons. Ecclesiastes 3 says there is a time for everything. God prepares you while He prepares them, often separately, often silently. What feels like isolation is often synchronicity, on happening behind the scenes. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes distractions. Some connections are not sinful, they are just distracting. They consume emotional energy without producing fruit. God prunes relationships not because they are evil, but because they are unnecessary. John 15 speaks of pruning so that greater fruit may come. God removes what competes with covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you sacrifice. Love costs something. Marriage is not about convenience, it is about commitment. Christ loved the church and gave Himself for her. God teaches you how to give without resentment, how to serve without applause, how to love without condition. Sacrifice learned now becomes strength later. Before God blesses you with marriage, He anchors you in truth. Feelings fluctuate, but truth sustains. God grounds you in His word, so your decisions are not driven by emotion alone. Psalm 119:10-5 reminds us that His word is a lamp to our feet. Marriage, guided by truth, survives storms that emotion cannot withstand. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to hear His voice clearly. Marriage requires guidance beyond human wisdom. God trains your spiritual ear so you can discern direction, correction, and confirmation. John 10:27 says, His sheep hear His voice. Without this, marriage becomes vulnerable to confusion and compromise. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches how to stand alone without becoming isolated. Independence without intimacy creates walls. God teaches you how to be whole without being hardened, confident without being closed, and strong without being rigid. This balance is essential because marriage requires openness without losing identity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes your fears. Fear of abandonment, fear of failure, fear of vulnerability, fear of repetition. God does not ignore fear, He confronts it. 1 John 4:18 says, perfect love casts out fear. God teaches you how to trust Him with your future so you do not sabotage covenant with anxiety. Before God blesses you with marriage, He invites you into surrender. Surrender is the doorway to covenant. You surrender timelines, expectations, preferences, and control. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. God does not force marriage. He entrusts it to those who surrender. Before God blesses you with marriage, He ensures that when the blessing comes, it does not replace Him, overshadow Him, or compete with Him. He remains first, central, and supreme. And as this preparation deepens, as identity settles, as wounds heal, as obedience matures, as patience grows, God continues to work quietly, deliberately, and faithfully, shaping you into someone who can sustain covenant, carry responsibility, and honor the sacred weight of marriage, still refining, still aligning, still preparing, still working beneath the surface, because what He is building in now is meant to last far beyond the wedding day and far beyond the moment you finally step into the union He has ordained. And as this preparation continues, God begins to deal with the deepest layers of your heart, the places no one else can see, the motives even you may not fully understand. Before marriage, God teaches you integrity in secrecy, because covenant cannot survive on public appearance alone. What you do when no one is watching matters deeply to God. David said in Psalm 51:6 that God desires truth in the inward parts. Marriage exposes what is hidden, so God refines what is hidden first. He teaches you to be the same person in private that you present in public, because hypocrisy poisons intimacy. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you emotional maturity. Emotional immaturity reacts. Maturity responds. Many conflicts in marriage are not caused by incompatibility, but by unmanaged emotions. God teaches you how to process disappointment without exploding, how to express pain without manipulation, how to communicate needs without accusation. Proverbs 2:9-11 says, fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. God develops restraint in you so your emotions serve love instead of sabotaging it. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reveals unhealthy patterns. Repetition is a teacher. If you keep attracting the same kind of relationships, the issue is not coincidence, it is revelation. God allows patterns to surface so they can be confronted and corrected. Romans 12:2 says not to be conformed to the pattern of this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewal breaks cycles. God does not want you repeating dysfunction in covenant. He wants you reflecting redemption. Before God blesses you with marriage, He redefines love. Love is not obsession, attachment, or emotional dependency. Love is patient, kind, not self-seeking, not easily angered, and keeps no record of wrongs, as described in 1 Corinthians 13. God strips away immature definitions of love that are based on feeling rather than commitment. He teaches you that love is a decision empowered by obedience, not an emotion controlled by circumstance. Before God blesses you with marriage, He addresses your expectations. Unrealistic expectations destroy intimacy. No human can fulfill what only God was meant to carry. Psalm 146:3 warns us not to put our trust in princes, in human beings who cannot save. God teaches you to expect partnership, not perfection, companionship, not completion. Marriage is not about finding someone to finish you, but finding someone to walk with you as both of you pursue God. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you submission to order. Submission is not weakness, it is alignment. Ephesians 5 speaks of mutual submission under Christ. God teaches you how to honor authority, respect leadership, and function within divine order. A marriage without order becomes a battlefield of wills. God prepares you to honor structure, so covenant becomes a place of peace rather than power struggle. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reveals your communication habits. Words create atmospheres. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." God refines your speech so you learn to speak life instead of destruction, clarity instead of confusion, truth instead of avoidance. Marriage amplifies communication, therefore, God trains your tongue in advance. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to love without control. Control masquerades as care, but it is rooted in fear. God is love, and love does not manipulate. 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." God removes controlling tendencies so love can breathe, trust can grow, and covenant can flourish without suffocation. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your spiritual discipline. Prayer, fasting, worship, and study are not optional in covenant. They are essential. God trains you to seek Him consistently so you are not spiritually dependent on your spouse. When both individuals are rooted in God, the marriage becomes anchored. Hosea 6:3 says, "Let us press on to know the Lord." That pursuit sustains covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to handle conflict righteously. Conflict is inevitable, destruction is optional. God shows you how to confront without condemning, how to correct without humiliating, how to disagree without dishonoring. Matthew 5:9 calls peacemakers blessed. God develops peacemaking skills in you, so conflict becomes a tool for growth rather than division. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes comparison. Comparison breeds dissatisfaction. Looking at other people's marriages creates unrealistic pressure and false expectations. Galatians 6:4 reminds us to test our own actions without comparing ourselves to others. God teaches you to trust His design for your journey, your timing, and your future. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes selfish ambition. Marriage requires service, not self-promotion. Philippians 2:4 says to look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. God purifies your ambition so it aligns with unity, not competition. Marriage is teamwork, not rivalry. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you gratitude. Gratitude protects joy. Ungrateful hearts always want more and are never satisfied. God teaches you to value what you have now so you can honor what He gives later. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 calls us to give thanks in all circumstances. Gratitude prepares the heart for covenant joy. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to wait without complaining. Complaining reveals distrust. Israel delayed their promise because of murmuring hearts. God teaches you silence, trust, and praise even in delay. Isaiah 4:31 says, Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Waiting builds endurance. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares your capacity to love sacrificially. Love costs comfort, ego, and preference. Jesus said in Luke 9:23, to deny yourself, take up your cross and follow Him. God teaches you self-denial now. So marriage does not feel like loss later. Before God blesses you with marriage, He purifies your vision. Vision determines direction. If you cannot see beyond yourself, marriage will feel restrictive. God expands your vision to include legacy, impact, and generational blessing. Psalm 127 speaks of children as a heritage from the Lord. Marriage is not just about today, it is about tomorrow. Before God blesses you with marriage, He heals your view of commitment. Commitment is not captivity, it is covenant. God shows you the beauty of faithfulness through His own nature. Lamentations 3:22-23 declares His mercies new every morning and His faithfulness great. God models covenant so you can mirror it. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to be led by peace. Colossians 3:15 says to let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Peace becomes your confirmation, not pressure. God trains you to recognize His peace so you do not make lifelong decisions from anxiety. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your obedience in small things. Obedience is cumulative. Small acts of faith prepare you for greater responsibility. Deuteronomy 28 shows blessings flowing from obedience. God watches your faithfulness now, because marriage multiplies whatever foundation you carry. Before God blesses you with marriage, He aligns your values. Shared values sustain shared vision. God clarifies what truly matters to you, so covenant is built on agreement, not constant negotiation. Amos 3:3 asks, how two can walk together unless they agree? Agreement precedes union. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes emotional baggage. Unresolved baggage weighs down covenant. God invites you to cast your cares upon Him because He cares for you. As stated in 1 Peter 5:7, freedom prepares you to love lightly and fully. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to trust again. Trust may have been broken in the past, but God restores it carefully. Psalm 3:4-19 says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them from all. God rebuilds trust slowly so it is strong. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares you to honor covenant publicly and privately. Honor is not performance, it is posture. God develops reverence for sacred things in you. Hebrews 13:4 says marriage should be honored by all. Honor begins before the wedding day. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to depend on Him for fulfillment. Fulfillment that comes from God cannot be threatened by people. Psalm 16:11 says, in His presence is fullness of joy. God becomes your fullness. So marriage becomes partnership, not pressure. And as this divine preparation deepens, God continues refining, shaping, pruning, strengthening, teaching, correcting, healing, aligning, and maturing you in ways that are often unseen, often uncomfortable, but always intentional. Every delay, every lesson, every closed door, every season of solitude is part of His design to ensure that when marriage comes, it is not fragile, rushed, or rooted in need, but strong, sacred, and anchored in purpose. Still forming, still unfolding, still being built beneath the surface, because God is far more concerned with who you are becoming and how quickly you arrive. And He continues this work faithfully, patiently, and deliberately, without ending, without resolving, without concluding, as He prepares you for a covenant meant to last. And as God continues this refining work, He begins to address the way you see covenant itself, because many people desire the fruit of marriage without understanding the weight of the vow. Before marriage, God teaches you reverence for promises. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5 warns that it is better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it. God trains your heart to take words seriously, to understand that covenant is not sustained by feelings, but by faithfulness. He teaches you that I do. It's not poetry, it is responsibility spoken before heaven. Before God blesses you with marriage, He purifies your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself will shape the way you speak to your spouse. If your inner world is filled with criticism, self-hatred, insecurity, or fear, those voices will eventually echo in your marriage. Romans 12:2 speaks again of the renewing of the mind, because transformation begins in thought. God replaces destructive internal narratives with truth, so that your marriage is not built on insecurity but on confidence anchored in Him. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you consistency. Passion can ignite connection, but consistency sustains it. God watches how faithful you are when excitement fades. Luke 9:62 reminds us that anyone who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is not fit for the kingdom. Marriage requires steady devotion, not seasonal commitment. God trains you to show up even when you do not feel inspired, because covenant is about faithfulness, not convenience. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reshapes your understanding of leadership. Leadership in marriage is not domination, it is service. Jesus redefined leadership when He washed the disciples' feet. Mark 10:45 says, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve." God removes authoritarian tendencies and replaces them with servant-hearted strength. Marriage flourishes where leadership looks like humility, protection, and sacrifice. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your ability to listen. Listening is an act of love. Many conflicts arise not because people disagree, but because they feel unheard. James 1:19 tells us to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God teaches you to listen without interrupting, without preparing a defense, without minimizing another person's experience. This discipline prepares you for intimacy that feels safe and valued. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes the need to be right. Being right can cost you relationship. Pride insists on winning arguments. Love seeks peace. Proverbs 17:14 says, "Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out." God teaches you when to speak and when to be silent, when to stand firm and when to yield. This wisdom protects marriage from unnecessary division. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes emotional avoidance. Avoidance does not heal issues, it buries them. God draws hidden fears, unresolved conflicts, and suppressed emotions to the surface so they can be healed. Psalm 32:3-5 shows David acknowledging that silence drained him, but confession brought relief. God teaches you that honesty is safer than suppression, and that truth invites healing. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you responsibility for your choices. Blame destroys intimacy. Genesis 3 shows Adam blaming Eve and Eve blaming the serpent, but God still held each person accountable. God matures you to own your decisions, your reactions, and your growth. Marriage thrives where accountability replaces excuses. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to value peace over drama. Some people confuse intensity with intimacy. God teaches you that peace is not boredom, it is safety. Isaiah 3:17 says, "The fruit of righteousness will be peace." A peaceful marriage is not empty, it is stable. God retrains your heart to desire calm consistency rather than emotional chaos. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reveals the importance of agreement in vision. Two people may love each other, but still move in opposite directions. God aligns your vision so covenant moves forward together. Habakkuk 2:2 speaks of writing the vision plainly. God clarifies direction, so marriage is not divided by conflicting purposes. Before God blesses you with marriage, He refines your patience with people. People grow at different speeds. God teaches you grace so you do not demand instant perfection. Colossians 3:12-13 encourages compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another. Marriage requires room for growth, not pressure for performance. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you the power of encouragement. Words can revive or drain a heart. God trains you to speak affirmation, not just correction. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." Encouragement builds resilience in Kovina. Inti. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to steward attraction wisely. Attraction is a gift, but it must be governed by wisdom. God teaches you not to be ruled by impulse. Song of Songs 2:7 warns not to awaken love before its time. Discipline now protects intimacy later. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares you for seasons. Marriage has seasons of abundance and seasons of strain. God strengthens your faith so you do not panic in winter seasons. Ecclesiastes 3 reminds us that seasons change. Faith anchored in God keeps covenant steady through transition. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts escapism. Using work, entertainment, or relationships to avoid inner work will surface in marriage. God draws you inward so healing is complete. Psalm 139:23-24 invites God to search the heart. Marriage requires presence, not distraction. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to value counsel. Isolation breeds error. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no guidance, people fall. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety." God teaches you humility to seek wisdom beyond yourself. Before God blesses you with marriage, He develops resilience. Marriage will test endurance. God strengthens your spirit so you do not quit when things become uncomfortable. Galatians 6:9 reminds us not to grow weary in doing good. Endurance protects covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability creates, intimacy. God heals past wounds so openness does not feel dangerous. 2 Corinthians 12:9 teaches that God's power is made perfect in weakness. Marriage flourishes where vulnerability is safe. Before God blesses you with marriage, He purifies your love from performance. Love that performs eventually exhausts. God teaches you to love authentically, not to earn approval. Romans 5:8 reminds us that Christ loved us while we were still sinners. That model shapes covenant love. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to honor boundaries with others. Emotional entanglements, inappropriate conversations, and unclear lines can undermine trust. God teaches holiness not as restriction, but as protection. Hebrews 12:14 says, "Without holiness, no one will see the Lord." Before God blesses you with marriage, He deepens your trust in His sovereignty. Trust releases anxiety. Psalm 127:1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." God ensures that when marriage comes, it is built by Him, not by human striving. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your obedience even when it costs you something. Obedience often requires sacrifice. God trains you to choose righteousness over desire. John 14:15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Love for God precedes love for spouse. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares you to guard unity. Unity does not mean sameness. It means agreement under God. Ephesians 4:3 urges us to keep the unit. Why of the Spirit through the bond of peace. God trains you to protect unity intentionally. Before God blesses you with marriage, He clarifies your role in covenant. God is a God of order. Understanding your role prevents confusion and conflict. 1 Corinthians 14:40 says everything should be done decently and in order. Order creates peace. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you endurance in love. Love that lasts must be rooted in commitment. 1 Corinthians 13:7 says, "Love always protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres." God builds perseverance into your spirit. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes fear of the future. Fear restricts faith. God teaches you to trust Him with tomorrow. Matthew 6:34 reminds us not to worry about tomorrow. Faith frees you to love fully. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares you to reflect Christ through covenant. Marriage is not just personal, it is prophetic. It reveals God's faithfulness to the world. God shapes you so your marriage becomes a testimony, not just a title. And as this preparation continues, layer upon layer, season upon season, God remains at work, patiently forming, shaping, correcting, strengthening, healing, aligning, and maturing you beyond what you can see or measure. Every lesson, every delay, every refinement is purposeful, ensuring that when the blessing of marriage comes, it rests on a foundation that will not crack under pressure, not crumble under conflict, not collapse under time. Because God is still building, still preparing, still refining, still working in ways unseen, carrying you forward in His timing, according to His wisdom, without rushing, without forcing, without concluding, as the work of preparation continues. And while this divine preparation continues, God also begins to address the deeper layers of identity that many overlook. Before marriage, He confronts who you believe you are when no one is watching, because marriage does not reveal a new person. It amplifies the one already present. If insecurity governs your identity, it will seek validation through your spouse. If pride dominates your heart, it will resist correction. God therefore anchors your identity in Him first, reminding you that you are chosen, accepted, and complete in Christ. Ephesians 1:4-5 declares that you were chosen in Him before the foundation of the world. When identity is settled in God, marriage becomes partnership, not dependency. Before God blesses you with marriage, He heals distorted expectations. Many enter marriage expecting another human to fulfill roles only God was meant to occupy. Psalm 62:5 says, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from Him." God gently dismantles unrealistic expectations so your spouse is not pressured to be savior, healer, or source. Marriage thrives when two whole people come together under one God, not when one broken soul tries to consume another. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to handle disagreement without division. Conflict is inevitable, but division is optional. God shows you that disagreement does not mean disrespect. Proverbs 15:1 teaches that a gentle answer turns away wrath. He trains your spirit to remain anchored even when emotions rise, so disagreement becomes a tool for growth rather than a weapon for destruction. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reshapes your response to correction. Correction is not rejection. Hebrews 12:11 reminds us that discipline is painful for a moment, but produces righteousness. God softens your heart so correction does not feel like attack, but guidance. This posture protects marriage from defensiveness and fosters mutual growth. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes control. Control is often disguised as care, but it is rooted in fear. God teaches you to trust Him with outcomes instead of manipulating people. Proverbs 3:5-6 instructs us to trust in the Lord with all our heart. A marriage ruled by control suffocates intimacy, but a marriage led by trust breathes freedom. Before God blesses you with marriage, He purifies your motives for commitment. Some desire marriage for status, security, or escape. God searches the heart, as Jeremiah 17:10 says, to ensure your desire for marriage is rooted in love, service, and covenant, not fear of loneliness or societal pressure. Before God blesses you with marriage, He develops emotional intelligence, knowing how to recognize emotions, name them, and respond with is essential. God teaches discernment of both your emotions and others. Proverbs 4:23 warns to guard the heart, for everything flows from it. Emotional maturity prevents miscommunication and deepens understanding. Before God blesses you with marriage, He refines your response to disappointment. Disappointment will come even in healthy marriages. God teaches you resilience so unmet expectations do not turn into resentment. Lamentations 3:31-33 reminds us that the Lord does not cast off forever, but shows compassion. This awareness allows grace to flow even in difficult moments. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you financial stewardship. Money reveals priorities and exposes character. God trains you to manage resources with wisdom, generosity, and integrity. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful with little will be faithful with much." Financial discipline before marriage prevents unnecessary strain after. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to honor time. Time is a form of love. God teaches you presence, not just proximity. Ephesians 5:15-16 urges us to make the most of every opportunity. Marriage flourishes when time is invested intentionally, not wasted carelessly. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes comparison. Comparison breeds dissatisfaction. God teaches you contentment, so you do not measure your marriage against others. Galatians 6:4 encourages each person to test their own actions. A marriage free from comparison is free to grow authentically. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts unforgiveness. Unforgiveness hardens the heart. God does not allow buried bitterness to enter covenant unchecked. Matthew 18:21 through 22 reminds us to forgive repeatedly. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is preparation for lasting unity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you intercession. Marriage is strengthened by prayer. God trains you to pray for others, not just yourself. Job 4-10 shows restoration came when Job prayed for his friends. A praying heart becomes a powerful foundation for marital unity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He clarifies the difference between love and attachment. Attachment clings out of fear. Love commits out of choice. 1 John 4:18 says, perfect love casts out fear. God removes unhealthy attachments, so covenant is chosen freely, not clung to desperately. Before God blesses you with marriage, He develops humility. Pride resists growth. Humility invites grace. James 4:6 says, God gives grace to the humble. Marriage thrives where humility allows learning, apology, and change. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to rest. Burnout damages relationships. God models rest from creation itself. Exodus 28 reminds us to honor the Sabbath. A rested soul loves better than an exhausted one. Before God blesses you with marriage, He deepens your understanding of sacrifice. Love costs something. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for friends. God trains you to sacrifice comfort for commitment, preference for partnership. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your discernment of voices. Not every opinion deserves influence. God teaches you to weigh counsel wisely. John 10:27 says, His sheep know His voice. Discernment protects marriage from unnecessary interference. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to manage stress without misdirecting it. Stress will come from outside, but God teaches you not to transfer it onto your spouse. Psalm 5:22 encourages casting burdens on the Lord. Healthy coping preserves peace. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you honor. Honor creates safety. Romans 12:10 tells us to honor one another above ourselves. Marriage flourishes where honor precedes correction. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you long-term thinking. Covenant requires vision beyond the moment. Proverbs 2:9-18 says, where there is no vision, people perish. God aligns your heart with eternity, so decisions are not driven by impulse. Before God blesses you with marriage, He exposes impatience. Rushing can ruin what waiting would protect. Isaiah 4:31 promises renewed strength to those who wait on the Lord. Waiting matures desire into wisdom. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you empathy. Empathy allows you to feel with, not just for, another. Romans 12:15 urges rejoicing with those who rejoice and mourning with those who mourn. Empathy deepens connection. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your spiritual discipline. Prayer, word, and obedience anchor covenant. Matthew 7:24 compares obedience to building on rock. Spiritual discipline sustains marriage in storms. Before God blesses you with marriage, He corrects distorted love models. God removes patterns learned from broken examples. Psalm 2:7-10 reminds us that even if parents forsake us, the Lord will receive us. God becomes the model for healthy love. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to celebrate others without envy. Celebration builds unity. Romans 12:15 again calls us to rejoice with others. Joy shared multiplies peace. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your commitment to truth. Truth spoken in love builds trust. Ephesians 4:15 urges speaking the truth in love. Marriage cannot survive deception. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares you to fight the right battles. Your spouse is not the enemy. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us our struggle is not against flesh and blood. God trains you to protect unity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to trust process over timing. Process shapes character. Philippians 1:6 assures that God will complete the work He began. Preparation is ongoing. Before God blesses you with marriage, He instills gratitude. Gratitude protects joy. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 encourages giving thanks in all circumstances. Gratitude soft, ends hearts. Before God blesses you with marriage, He anchors your hope in Him alone. Hope in people will disappoint. Hope in God stabilizes. Romans 15:13 calls Him the God of hope. Before God blesses you with marriage, He ensures your love reflects Christ, not culture. Culture promotes consumption. Christ models covenant. John 13:34 commands love as He loved us. And through all of this, God does not rush because eternity is not in a hurry. He continues shaping, refining, teaching, pruning, healing, strengthening, aligning, correcting, and maturing you layer by layer. What feels like delay is divine diligence. What feels like silence is sacred formation. God is still working beneath the surface, still preparing your heart, still ordering your steps, still shaping your future, still writing a story that cannot be rushed, still building a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of covenant, still ensuring that when marriage comes, it rests not on emotion alone, but on truth, wisdom, obedience, faith, and love that endures. As the preparation continues forward without pause, without conclusion, without finality, because God is not finished yet. And as this divine work continues, God also begins to confront the way you interpret love through pain. Many people unknowingly carry definitions of love shaped by abandonment, betrayal, inconsistency, or disappointment. Before marriage, God gently but firmly dismantles these false definitions. He teaches you that love is not prov, and by how much pain you can tolerate, nor by how much you sacrifice your dignity to keep someone. Love, as defined by God, is rooted in truth, honor, and faithfulness. 1 Corinthians 13:6 reminds us that love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. God heals your discernment so you no longer confuse chaos with passion or inconsistency with mystery. Before God blesses you with marriage, He addresses the fear of being truly known. Many people hide parts of themselves to be accepted. God teaches you that intimacy begins with authenticity. Psalm 139, 1-4 reveals that God knows us completely, yet still loves us fully. When you are secure in being fully known by God, you no longer fear being fully known by a spouse. Marriage requires the courage to be seen without masks. Before God blesses you with marriage, He reshapes your relationship with solitude. Solitude is not loneliness, it is preparation. God often uses seasons of aloneness to strengthen your inner world. Mark 1:35 shows Jesus withdrawing to pray in solitary places. God teaches you how to be whole alone, so you do not use marriage to escape emptiness. Solitude becomes a place of encounter rather than deprivation. Before God blesses you with marriage, He refines your spiritual authority. Authority flows from alignment. God teaches you how to submit to Him so you can lead and love rightly. James 4:7 says, "Submit yourselves to God, resist the devil, and he will flee." A marriage built on spiritual authority stands firm against external pressures. Before God blesses you with marriage, He trains your reactions under pressure. Pressure reveals character. God allows situations that stretch your patience, challenge your humility, and test your obedience. Romans 5:3-4 reminds us that suffering produces perseverance, character, and hope. Marriage will bring moments of pressure, and God ensures your responses are anchored before those moments arrive. Before God blesses you with marriage, He heals the need for constant reassurance. When insecurity demands reassurance, it eventually exhausts love. God teaches you to draw assurance from His promises rather than human validation. Isaiah 4:1-10 declares that God strengthens and upholds you. Security in God allows marriage to breathe without pressure. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to honor differences without fear. Differences are not threats, they are dimensions. God celebrates diversity within unity. 1 Corinthians 12 speaks of many parts forming one body. God prepares you to value perspectives different from your own without feeling diminished. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts emotional immaturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Proverbs 16:32 says, "Better is one who controls their spirit than one who conquers a city." God strengthens your inner discipline, so emotions serve wisdom, not sabotage covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He trains you to recognize spiritual warfare. Not every conflict is natural. Some are spiritual. God teaches discernment so you do not fight each other instead of the enemy. Ephesians 6:13 calls us to stand firm against schemes of the enemy. Spiritual awareness protects unity. Before God blesses you with marriage, He restores hope where disappointment once lived. Deferred hope can harden the heart. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." God revives hope carefully, not recklessly, so it does not collapse under expectation. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to wait without resentment. Waiting becomes dangerous when it turns bitter. God transforms waiting into worship. Psalm 2:7-14 urges waiting on the Lord with courage. Waiting with faith strengthens the soul. Before God blesses you with marriage, He refines your understanding of submission. Submission is not weakness. It is strength under authority. Ephesians 5:21 speaks of submitting to one another out of reverence for Christ. God teaches mutual submission rooted in love, not fear. Before God blesses you with marriage, He removes the tendency to idolize relationships. Anything placed above God becomes unstable. Exodus 23 reminds us to have no other gods before Him. God ensures marriage becomes a blessing, not an idol. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your sense of purpose beyond relationship. Marriage complements. Just not replace it. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us God has plans for hope and a future. Purpose-centered individuals build purpose-driven marriages. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to steward joy. Joy is not dependent on circumstances. Nehemiah 8:10 says, "The joy of the Lord is our strength." Joy carried into marriage becomes resilience during trials. Before God blesses you with marriage, He confronts generational patterns. Patterns repeat until they are healed. God breaks cycles of dysfunction through awareness and obedience. Exodus 26 speaks of God showing love to thousands of generations of those who love Him. Healing today changes tomorrow. Before God blesses you with marriage, He deepens your compassion. Compassion allows space for weakness. Colossians 3:12 calls us to clothe ourselves with compassion. Compassion transforms conflict into understanding. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to apologize sincerely. Apology restores connection. Matthew 5:23-24 emphasizes reconciliation. God trains your heart to value relationship over ego. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your discernment in choosing wisely. Not everyone who desires you is assigned to you. Proverbs 4:26 urges careful consideration of your path. God sharpens discernment. So covenant is intentional. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you endurance through silence. Silence often precedes revelation. Habakkuk 2:20 says, "The Lord is in His holy temple. Let all the earth be silent." Silence develops trust. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to celebrate small victories. Gratitude for small things builds faith for greater ones. Zechariah 4:10 warns not to despise small beginnings. Marriage grows through daily faithfulness. Before God blesses you with marriage, He purifies your language. Words create atmosphere. God teaches you to speak life. Proverbs 18:21 reminds us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Healthy language sustains covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you to confront issues early. Delayed conversations grow into division. Matthew 18:15 encourages addressing issues directly. Early truth prevents later pain. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your sense of responsibility toward another's heart. Love God's hearts carefully. Philippians 2:4 urges looking to the interests of others. Responsibility nurtures trust. Before God blesses you with marriage, He teaches you how to endure misunderstanding without hardening. Jesus endured misunderstanding with grace. 1 Peter 2:23 shows Christ entrusting Himself to God. God teaches resilience without bitterness. Before God blesses you with marriage, He refines your faith to trust what you cannot yet see. Faith precedes manifestation. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for. Faith carries you forward. Before God blesses you with marriage, He strengthens your obedience in private. Private obedience produces public stability. Luke 16:10 again reminds us faithfulness in little matters. Private integrity protects covenant. Before God blesses you with marriage, He prepares your heart to reflect Christ through unity. Marriage becomes ministry. John 17:21 speaks of unity reflecting God's glory. God shapes your heart for that reflection. And as all of this continues, God remains patient, intentional, and precise. He does not waste seasons, nor does He hurry formation. Every layer He addresses, every habit He corrects, every belief He renews, every wound He heals is part of a divine process unfolding in perfect wisdom. What feels repetitive is reinforcement. What feels slow is stability being built. God continues working beneath the surface, aligning your heart, strengthening your spirit, deepening your faith, expanding your capacity to love rightly, steadily preparing you for covenant without rushing the process, without skipping steps, without offering finality, because the preparation is still unfolding, the shaping is still active, and God is still at work. So take courage in this sacred process, because the God who is preparing you is the same God who designs covenant with precision and love. Nothing you have walked through has been wasted, and nothing you are learning is accidental. Every delay has been protection. Every correction has been mercy. And every season of preparation has been an investment into a future that will not collapse under pressure. God is not withholding marriage from you. He is refining you for it. When the moment arrives, what He joins together will be sustained by truth, anchored in faith, strengthened by obedience, and covered by His grace. Until that day, continue to yield, continue to trust, continue to grow, and continue to walk faithfully with Him, knowing that what God prepares in secret, He reveals in due time, and what He ordains by His wisdom will always unfold in His perfect timing for His glory and for your good.